Hi there, Craig with Travel and Tartan here. I did a little unboxing video on this gimbal the other week, and now I've had a chance to use it. So this is going to be the video about how I got on with using it, what I thought of it, did it work for me, was it easy to use. Definitely a bit of a beginner's guide here because this is my first ever gimbal, and it was interesting to use. I really definitely enjoyed it, but there were certainly some things I would design differently if I was a designer. Having said that, we're going to break this into a couple little sections. We're going to do just kind of the setup of the whole thing and how you would use it. I will show you some video of using it, different things you can do with it, and then a side-by-side comparison with the gimbal, and then just like a stick, a selfie kind of stick kind of deal, to see the difference between the two of them so you can get a proper perspective of how it works. Alright, so let's start with section 1. We'll call it setup. Okay, so once you get it unboxed and you start putting it together, here's your battery here. It's a pretty chunky battery. This is a 5,000 milliamp battery. Lasts a long time as far as the gimbal's concerned, so that's actually kind of nice. They also have an option where you can plug in this to your GoPro and charge. I'm assuming other things plug in it too. It's a USB-C, but you can actually charge it from the unit itself while you're using it. More on that later. What did I think about setting this up then? Okay, so I did struggle a little bit when I was putting it together for the first time. I definitely admit that. The first thing you need to do is you have to put your GoPro in it, set it all up, and then you have to balance the GoPro. So basically what you're doing is, before you switch it on at all, you want to make sure that your GoPro is kind of centered and it's nice and balanced. And that way when you turn it on, it will flip it up and it will be dead center and perfect. So how you balance it is, you actually, once you put your GoPro in here and you tighten this part of it down, you can actually move this whole piece, slides this direction. You actually loosen it off here. There's some the whole padlock, lock and unlock right here, and you twist it towards the unlock side, and it allows this to slide back and forth. So what you would do is you would slide that back and forth to get the feel for it being kind of in the right place. So it isn't going to drop down like that. It's going to sit right in the middle. Okay, and then when you turn it on, then it will come up and it will be ready to go. First issue I found out with that is, when you put your GoPro in, you get one of two choices. If you put it in one side, you don't have access to the plug for charging, and if you put it in the other side, you don't have access to turn the thing on. So out of those two options, turning it on is important. So but it's up to you how you want to deal with that. I actually liked it better with the power thing out, so I could at least try and plug that in that way. So what I did was I got it almost away and power it on, then put it all the way in and seat it. Once it's seated, it's pretty snug and it fits in quite nicely, and it's solid, and it's well designed from that perspective. So that's that. There are a number of buttons on the thing here. You've got several on the front. You've got 2 on the back. And we'll go through kind of how we did those. I'll actually show you me using some of these buttons in filming on out and about. So that is the setup for how you would get the GoPro ready to use. All right, done talking. Let's go on to section 2, which is what you can actually do with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through filming outside using a couple of the different buttons. And then we'll do a little shot of some other stuff, and I'll let you know what we're going to do as we get there. All right, so here we go. This is how you would actually use it in the wild. So one of the other features you can use on this camera, on this gimbal, is the ability to swing it between looking at me, selfie mode, and chatting into the camera, hobnobbing, and facing whatever direction you want it to face in. So when would I want to use this? I'm not entirely sure I'm using this. Maybe I am, but I'm probably not. So here's how it works though. So I'm facing me right now. There's a button on the back of the camera. If I hit it twice, so you can go from like this to, oh my god, there's a dinosaur, and you keep your eyes on the dinosaur, and that's it. Pretty cool. I don't know, like I said, I'm not sure when I'm using that. I don't know, you tell me if it's a good feature. Use the I am not sure, the horizontal movement. So if I use another one here, it will actually do this guy. If you want to maybe straighten it out, or I don't know what's going on. And then you've got a joystick that you can actually use to do all your cool movements if you want, which is kind of nice from a panning perspective. That's very smooth. I like that. So if you wanted to do a shoot where you go side to side, I definitely think you've got the ability to do that. I mean, it was kind of useful. I certainly got some value out of it there, some different things you can do with it. I do think on the joystick part, the one thing I did notice was that you do definitely hear, and I know it was a little windy, I understand, but you do hear a little bit of the motor running when you're using the joystick and that last scene there. Next video up is the sitting on a swing video. Now, I managed to find, without a doubt, the noisiest swing that I could find in the Northern Hemisphere. And what I'm going to do is, barring the noise, I'm afraid, sorry, I'm going to show you what it's like to just hold it while the swing is swinging backwards and forwards, both facing me and then away from me, and you kind of get an idea of it tracking and how it works there. All right, so cue getting nauseous on the swing. All right, so here's a fun test. I just found a swing of sorts. So I've decided to get on the swing. Oh, I'm already sick. And I'm gonna see what it's like, the gimbal, what it's like to keep me in the same position all the time. Oh, this is making me sick. All right, I'm gonna go forwards now and we'll see what that's like. That's actually pretty good. I mean, at least on the GoPro screen, it looks like it's not doing a bad job. Right. So, other than needing a sick bag, I actually kind of like the ability that it had for tracking there and keeping everything pretty steady. So, thumbs up, well done on that one, FeiyuTech. Appreciate what you did with that. So now we'll move on to just a couple of pictures I took. I used the button. There's actually the two buttons you have on the front here. There's a mode button and there's a record button. So this allows you to change between GoPro settings like your photo, your video, your time lapse. Allows you to either stop recording or take pictures. So you got on the screen here is a couple of pictures I took just holding the thing and then pressing the record/take button just to see. So I mean, it's just a picture, but it worked pretty well. It did exactly what I needed it to do, so I appreciated that. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for, the comparison side-by-sides of using the gimbal and using the pole. So I've tried to do an exact same scenario, just walking down the same path. You'll see both of them on the screen, and you can get a great idea from this how it works. So I think, to be fair, that's kind of one of your meat and potatoes shots right there, isn't it? I feel that this did a much better job than the pole. So I think if you're wanting it for that purpose, I think I showed that it does a pretty good job with that. I'm pretty pleased with it from that perspective. So that's great. All right, so now I get to rip it apart a little bit and the things I didn't like about it. First of all, and one of its biggest problems, in my opinion, if you go outside with it, anywhere outside, this little screen is completely gone invisible. You can't see anything that's on it at all. It looks great inside, But the minute you step outside, any sort of sunlight at all makes it impossible to see what it's doing. And the app is useless. So all the app I've really been able to do with it is control this same thing as this joystick. Now granted, it also does some settings and adjustments and stuff, but really it's pretty crap. I'm really totally confused as to what the point of it really is. Because it doesn't tell you the stuff you need to know. Like if the app at least told me, oh, you're on this mode, or oh, you're on that mode, then it's great, but it doesn't. And actually, the first time I went outside, I thought it was broken. I actually thought I broke the thing somehow, because I put my eye up to it and I couldn't see it. Actually, here's just a little video that I took on my cell phone just to show you that you truly can't see it. It's not great, but... So if you look, I have the GoPro working on my gimbal, except for whatever reason, the display isn't showing up. So I can't see what mode I'm in when I want to actually use it. So it kind of shows you a little bit that you really have a hard time seeing it. The battery is nice and meaty, and it says you can charge your GoPro from it. Okay, true, absolutely true, you can. Here's the thing though, I plugged my GoPro into this and it almost never went up even 1% the whole time I had it plugged in. I was sitting around 16% on my GoPro when I started it, about 16%. I think at the most I got up to about 18% with me using it. And you have to have it switched on to use it. Like you can't have this, if this is switched off, there's no power between the two. So it's not like you can even charge things with it. So that's weird too. But if you are in a pinch and you need to plug in your GoPro because you're like, oops, my batteries are all dead, this is my last hope, then at least you can use it and it's functional. But don't think you're charging it with your GoPro, because you aren't. All right, there is one mode in here that I didn't actually go over, I didn't take a video of. I could have, but whatever. It's like an auto mode, and what it does is you can set it up so you can sit your GoPro down and you tell it where you want it to start filming, like what direction you want it to start filming in. And then you tell it what direction you want it to finish filming in. And then you tell it a time frame and it will actually use that time frame and it will just pan and record. Which is kind of cool, I guess. If you want to do like a sunset or something, then you could do that. Now, granted, your GoPro lasts about an hour on full battery blowout, so, and this isn't going to help that much with your charging, so you're not going to do a whole morning to night time unless your GoPro is plugged into some electricity. But it's kind of an idea, it's an interesting feature, I suppose you would call it. All right, so what did I think? The real final. I liked it. I was happy with it. It did a great job for me. 130 odd bucks on sale, I think I got that. Very pleased with it. Definitely if I was speaking to a designer, there'd be a few changes I would make. Firstly, I want to be able to read the damn screen, okay? Illuminate the screen, please. But other than that, I was very happy with it. Setup was a bit difficult. Once you fix that, you're good to go and it's great. I did have to look up a couple of things with issues I had with the setup initially. I watched a couple of YouTube videos of how you're supposed to do stuff and how you could fix shuddering and things. There's definitely a very sweet spot for your balance. You've got to be really careful, and if you go over that sweet spot or try and do too much with it, you end up getting a lot of juddering, so be careful with that. Charging, yeah, whatever. But it did a good job for what it was supposed to do, which was try and keep my video nice and straight, keep wherever I was pointing it in frame all the time, and for that, thumbs up. All right, that's it. So feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear from anybody who's used this. Did you have the same issues as I did? Did you have different issues that I didn't find? Did you get the screen to show up better? Maybe just draw on it in crayon or something would be easy. Other than that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.